So mathematical derivation of marginal utility. Marginal utility equals change in total utility divided by change in quantity. Expanding this equation where total utility 2 minus total utility 1 divided by quantity 2 minus quantity 1. So what's total utility 2? So it's the new total utility. That's the total utility 2. And what's TU1? The original utility. That's TU1. What's Q2? The new quantity consumed. What's Q1? The original quantity consumed. Let's say there are donuts for sale for $3 and term 1,000 sold at this price. The maximum any one consumer would pay is $6. This willingness to pay starts to decline along the demand curve until it reaches supply. So this is a great example. If you pay $3 for something and you would have paid $6 maximum, you get $3 of value minus the cost. So it's great. It shows the amount of value you get out of something that you buy cheap. So it's a great thing. It really shows that, for example, going to secondhand stores to buy products, clothing, books, etc., you get a lot of value out of them because you could buy them at, let's say, $4. You buy a book for $4 that you could have bought for $50 new. And in that case, you get $46 of value because 50 minus 4 would be $46. So you get that amount of value minus the costs. So it's a very good thing to think about. You can buy things cheap and you'll get a lot of value out of them because you bought them cheaper than if you bought it at full price. So I recommend doing that. Is consumer surplus good or bad? The consumer surplus is a good thing because it indicates that consumers are happy to purchase the product. There was no consumer surplus, the consumer would receive no utility in purchasing the good or service, therefore, a transaction would not take place. So, ideally, you want to buy it at a cheaper price than where it was at before. Or ideally, you want to buy it at a cheaper price than what you're willing to pay for it. So, budget line. Budget line is very useful. So, it shows the efficient the efficient points on the line. So if you're at TSRQP, you're efficient. That's where you should be to be efficient and use all your resources to the highest capacity. So you're maximizing total surplus in this case. So the amount of value is maximized in this economy if you're on the line. If you're at PQRST, you're maximizing the amount of efficiency for the economy. So at P, you're producing four t-shirts, zero movies. Q, you're producing three t-shirts, two movies. R, you're producing two t-shirts, four movies. S, you're producing one t-shirt, six movies. T, you're producing zero t-shirts and eight movies. So ideally, R is the best point because you're efficient and you're equal. So you're equally producing t-shirts and movies at the same time. So you're sharing half for t-shirts and movies. So half t-shirts, half movies for your production. And if you're inside the graph, so you're left of the graph, you will be in recession. So you don't want to be in recession because you're underproducing if you go left or inside the graph. But if you go right above the graph, right of the graph, above the graph, that means that you're not there yet. So you don't have the resources to be above or right of the graph yet. Your economy hasn't grown enough to be there. So this would be This would be here your economy going into recession. You don't want this. You want the economy to be going right. That would be an improvement in technology if you go right, or more resources or more labor. So if you have more resources, more labor, more technology, you'd move right, and that's where you want to be. You don't want to be moving left because that means you're in recession. So what budget or consumption possibility line shows the various combinations of two products to be purchased by the consumer with his or her income? So be budget line or budget constraint.